What is happening, my people? This is Tim Dodd with the Tim Dodd Show, and today I want to give you a very effective LinkedIn marketing strategy that's going to help you get customers now, but also build a foundation to get customers in the long term. It's a really cool strategy. In fact, we just finished up a project with a client where we built out their entire in-house systems to use LinkedIn to get customers in a very high volume, very efficient and effective way, as well as set up automated warm up and nurture sequences to get those meetings that book warmed up before the call so that they're more ready to buy state, as well as their sales script and sales processes so that the most amount of those leads turn into customers. So in today's video, I want to walk you through the 7 steps that we went through with their LinkedIn strategy so that you can start getting customers really quickly, and as well as getting them quickly build out a strategy so that the longer you do this, the more and more clients come in. Now, I'm gonna give you a lot of value in this video, so make sure to click that save button down there. It's on your screen, it's on your lower right of this video. Click save to watch later, because I'm gonna give you some really good value points that you're gonna go apply, get results with, but you're gonna wanna come back and reference this video, as well as for each one of the teachings that I go over in today's video. If you want more in-depth, like step-by-step how to do that, I am going to, in the description below, put a link to a more in-depth training for every single part in this video. Now, you don't have to go watch those. You're gonna get the value from today's video alone. But if you are kind of nerdy like me and you wanna get the little, like very specific details of everything, I made sure to put a link in the description of a bunch of other YouTube videos I've created to help you with like the LinkedIn search and how to create a very, very specific message. Again, if you're a nerd like me, you're gonna wanna use that. If you just wanna see the overall strategy and start applying it right now, today's video is gonna be great. Just make sure to save that so you can watch it later. Before I jump in, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because I'm here to help you do 2 things. I'm here to help you sell more and scale more. Step number 1 is you want to figure out who your customer is and what keeps them up at night. Now, there's so many bad teachings on this where people go out and they try to find all these perfect psychographs of their perfect customer, and then they try to fit all of those targeting parameters. They dog and they're this, and they like nachos, and they follow this person, and they're, you know, in this certain mindset. You can't target mindsets. You can't target these types of interests and different things. You can a little bit on the interest side, but what you want to target specifically is you want to find a demographic. What is the industry they are in? What is the title that they have? Maybe how long have they been in that role for? How big is the company that they're at? Etc., etc. You want to get those very businessy type categories categorized. Now, if you're going to use a free search, you're going to have things like title, industry, geography, and you can also use keywords. I'm not going to get into super detail on it here, but if you're going to use a free account, that's what you can do. If you're going to use like a sales navigator account, you can target more stuff like how big is the company? How long have they been at the company? Do they have experience with certain skills or with certain roles? You can get more specific. Now, if you want to know how to decide whether you should do free or not free, just think about it like this. If your outreach that you're going to be doing both messaging to and content marketing to, if it doesn't matter what their company size is, if it doesn't matter how long they've been in their role, doesn't matter how long they've owned their company, then the free search will be fine. You don't need Sales Navigator or Premium. If you do want to target a specific company size, like, hey, I want to target people that are 11 to 50 employees, or I want to target companies that are 500 plus employees, or you want to target something like, hey, I want to target somebody that's owned their business for at least 5 years. Those type of parameters are very, very helpful. In that case, you would want to use the Premium Sales Navigator. Now, I do have, again, a resource in below if you want to get even more in granular and detail with that. As well as see how to use the free search and the Sales Navigator search. I have the link in the description below. Just wait till the end. At the end of the video, go and get all those resources you need, but it's gonna walk you through step by step on what's the difference between free and premium. But just at the end of the day, the difference between free and premium is really that with premium, you can target like stuff like company size, how long they've been in their role, things like that, which are actually really important. They are really important, but they're not important for everybody. Now, when you understand the demographics, you can also now move into like the psychographics, which is a fancy term. I hate it when people overuse fancy terms that just Yeah, I like to keep things simple, and let's put it this way. What keeps them up at night? Simple. What is keeping them up at night? Eyes staring at the ceiling, they cannot get to sleep. What is that thing happening? Another question you can ask is, what are the 3 main daily frustrations that they're dealing with every day in their business? And then from there, once you understand that, and we'll go into more detail a little bit later in this video, once you truly understand those things, you can write a message that speaks to that pain and shows how you can uniquely solve that pain. And not just like everybody else out there, but what makes you unique and how they can have confidence that you can solve that pain. Very, very important. If you're trying to just sell down the road, sell your services, and you haven't answered those questions, you're gonna have a really, really hard time. If you can answer those questions now, early on, with who's my target and what's keeping them up at night, you're gonna have a very, very, very smooth sailing, writing your messages, writing your marketing, writing your content marketing down the road. So don't skip on that. Make sure you got your demographics and your psychographics. Now we're gonna move into step 2, which is optimizing your profile. Now, a lot of other people will say, this is like a sales page to sell yourself. And it is kind of, and it used to be, you know, do the salesy headline, do the salesy description, all of that, and people would see your profile and go, wow, and then just be sold. But now that so many people do that, it's like kind of overused. So people immediately see a salesy looking LinkedIn profile and they go, I already know I'm gonna get pitched, and they don't wanna connect with you. So what's really important is that you're building a profile that more makes you look like an expert at what you do, but you're not giving the persona that you're gonna pitch them as soon as they connect. Like the whole things that say, I help coaches get hundreds of leads every single minute. If a coach sees that, they're gonna go, oh great, this person's gonna pitch me something as soon as I connect. So we wanna make it look more personable. You can even add stuff like, hey, Google Ads expert and Star Wars nerd. Like keeping things human, but you wanna make it also be, as you're going through like your experiences, what school, you want to make all of that kind of tell one story, and that is, how can this person potentially solve that one thing that's keeping me up at night? Now, you're not selling and pitching, but you're positioning yourself as a subject matter expert. You're also making it personable, hence hey, Google Ads expert as well as Star Wars nerd, or puppy mama of 3, something like that. That makes it personable, because people they want to connect with people. And in a world where everything's automated and automized and bots and AIs and all this, people just want genuine connection. So make sure that your profile is optimized to be human as well. If you want to see like the real step-by-step nitty-gritty how to do that, wait till the end of this video and then go to the description, because I will give you a step-by-step how to optimize your profile, not just to look human, but also to show up when people search for relevant terms. When people are looking on LinkedIn for an AdWords expert, that you show up. When people are looking on LinkedIn for a career coach, that you show up. When people are looking on LinkedIn for whatever it is you do, that you actually show up in the LinkedIn search. So make sure to wait till the end of this video, go to the description, get those resources if you want the more nitty-gritty kind of nerdy stuff like I like to do. I'm a little bit overanalyze things and kind of get the nitty-gritty. If you're like that, you can definitely get those resources. If not, no worries. All right, so that's who and what's keeping them up at night, as well as optimizing your profile to really build some trust, to make them like you and make them see you as a subject matter expert that they'd actually want to hang out with and talk to, right? This next 3 steps is all about building your network. It's all about messaging your network, and it's all about nurturing your network. Why did I kind of give you a upfront about what these next 3 steps are going to be? It's because step 3 is about building your network. That's going to be the foundation. What network you have, what you're building, that's going to be the foundation on which step 4, which is messaging your network to get meetings, right? As well as step 5, which is nurturing your network with content marketing and posting. Don't worry, I'm not going to overwhelm you with a bunch of work to do every day. It's not like the post 1,000 times a day. You'll see in a second. But obviously, to do this effectively, we need a strong network of the right kind of people. And so step 3 is gonna be very critical. I really want you to pay attention here, because we're gonna be building a solid network on which all the other stuff is going to hinge. Okay, step 3, this is where we're going to build your network, and it is a foundation on which your messaging, your nurturing, your content, all of that will be built. Very, very critical you get it right here, and don't get overwhelmed because I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it. Now, remember in the who section of this video, we talked about you using free LinkedIn versus Sales Navigator. If you can kind of help any company of any size and you use the free account and you're just targeting certain industries, and maybe you're just targeting business owners or sales executives or CMOs, whatever, if you're more general and you're okay with that being the network, totally fine. Use the free search. I have even a video that shows you how to get really, really good results from a free search if you go to the description. But if you need a more targeted, like, hey, I need companies that have at least 50 employees or 50 to 200 employees, or I only wanna work with business owners that have been in business for 5 years and have less than 10 employees. Like if you need those kind of criterias, make sure you are using the premium and you're able to target those type of criteria, because this is gonna be the foundation on which all your other efforts are built. So who you're messaging, who you're setting meetings up with, who you're doing content marketing to. And if you can make sure you get this part right, it's gonna be very, very powerful, very, very effective. Now, you not only wanna have the right targets, but you wanna have the right volume of outreach happening, the right volume of connection requests happening. So obviously on LinkedIn, you can go out, you can request to connect with people. And the mistake that most people make is they think, hey, if I connect with say 10 or 20 people a day, boy, I'm really building a strong network. Or maybe I'm doing 100 a week or something like that. They think they're building a strong network. The reality is there is 623 million active users, not active, but there's 623 million users, not active, but there's users, there's a lot of them, on LinkedIn, and it is the highest income per capita of any social platform. So trying to do 10 or 20 a day is gonna just be putting a drop into the ocean. Now your goal is not to connect with all of them, but to be effective, you want to be asking at least a couple thousand people a month to connect. And there is LinkedIn limitations that only allow you to connect with 100 people a week. So like 400 and something people a month. So it is very low. We have a strategy that allows you to connect with thousands. We have clients connecting with hundreds of thousands prospects on LinkedIn every month. You just have to know kind of some of the LinkedIn strategies on how to do that. And I do have a more in-depth video on how to bypass the LinkedIn limitation. But just so you know, for this video, you want to be making sure that for one LinkedIn account, you need to be reaching out to 2,000 to 2,500 people a month. And don't worry, don't get stressed out. You can do this in bulk and you can do it efficiently in a way that's actually very, very human. And that's gonna, as I move into the messaging, I'm gonna explain that a little bit more. But most people are scared to do too much volume with their outreach because they're like, oh, I don't wanna seem like spammy. I don't wanna seem like a body. But there's a really, really cool strategies that you can use to both do high volume and be very, very targeted and specific in the way that you interact with people, so that you're both getting a high volume at high efficiency, and you're coming across as very, very authentic and natural and unique. You're not just doing a general message to everybody. All right, so now you are connecting with the right people. You're asking 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 people a month to connect, depending on what your growth goals are. And again, you can use those resources in the description to see exactly how to do that, as well, how to use the Sales Navigator and the free search to find the right people. Now that you're connecting with them, they're connecting with you. Now it's time to message them, direct message them, so that you can progress a potential client relationship and move that forward. So with step 4, which is messaging your network, there's gonna be 2 formulas you wanna use here. One is for the actual message. You want to be direct and specific. So what do I mean by direct and specific? Well, it's this. You have to be direct with your intentions up front, and you have to be specific to them. So most people are gonna do something very generic. I'm gonna tell you how most people do this wrong. They're gonna say something like, hey, looking forward to networking. I really liked your profile and just thought we could network and like to add great people to our network. And then these back and forth messages like, wow, all these like really just kind of like, I know what you're trying to do. You're eventually gonna pitch me. And then most decision makers, busy decision makers, CEOs, executives, owners, they don't have time to be pen pals with people on LinkedIn. They don't. The people that will respond and do all the back and forth with you, they usually have a lot of time. And if they have a lot of time and freedom, they're generally not going to be the type of people that you want to get on the phone with, because they're going to waste your time on the phone and they're not going to become clients. So you want to be direct and you want to be specific. So for example, I could reach out, like, let's just say I'm trying to do marketing for restaurants. And what I would do is in one group, one of my outreaches, I would be targeting restaurants in Miami, Florida. And I would be very, very specific about this. And I would say, hey, great linking up. If I could show you how we're getting other Miami, Florida restaurant owners 3 times the new business and 2 times the repeat traffic, I don't know, I'd tweak that a little bit more. Would it be worth 15 minutes of your time to set up a call? You see, I was very specific about restaurant owners in Miami, Florida, and I was specific about the outcome. Double their new business as well, triple their new business, as well as double their repeat business. And I could even then add like in a 90-day thing. Now I have a training that goes very, very in depth, like step by step, exactly how to customize the message exactly for your industry. And I obviously have that resource in the description. Wait till the end of the video and get that. But that's what I mean by direct and specific. I'm gonna be reaching out, I'm gonna be being direct, but I'm gonna be being specific. And if you can get 5 out of 100 people you talk to, 5 to 10 out of 100 people you talk to set up a meeting, you're gonna do very well. That's a very, very good kind of criteria. And when you try to do the networky, pen pally thing, you're only gonna get about 1 out of 100, maybe 1 out of 150 that says yes to a call when you're doing things like, hey, I just want to network, and here's a video, and here's a link, and oh, I just want to give value before we meet. People don't have time for that. And so not only are you gonna get less results, by the time you get on the phone with that person, they're not gonna be getting on the phone to talk to you about your services. So direct and specific. You are gonna get some rejection. That's just marketing and sales. Hate to tell it to you, you can't have everybody love you. So that is one of the qualifiers to build a business, is not everybody's gonna love you. If you wanna help 10,000 people, you're gonna have 500 people that hate you. Just straight up, that's how it is. So you're gonna get some negatives, but our goal here is to get the right people on the phone around the right context, because now they're getting on the phone to talk about this problem that you can solve with your service. So very, very important. The next formula for the messaging is to have volume plus efficiency. So remember, we were talking about, we want to be reaching out for every one LinkedIn profile you have. You want to be asking about 2,000 to 2,500 people a month to connect with you. Now, if you were to manually look at everybody's profile to find a specific thing to say, it's gonna take a lot of time. So what we wanna do is, like in the message I explained before, is we wanna get specific with things that we can automate. Meaning, like, I can automate that you're a restaurant owner in Miami, Florida. I can know that without looking at your profile. I can literally just target restaurant owners in Miami, Florida, and then say, hey, I work with restaurant owners in Miami, Florida. So that message is specific, but it allows me to be efficient. So I can now automate not only the connection requests. Be careful on never use a public software to do this, because you're gonna get flagged. You can get banned by Google. So make sure we use a private software. We're reaching out to 2,500 people a month per LinkedIn account, connecting, doing this thing I'm telling you about. So make sure you're not using a public software. You wanna use a private software so that LinkedIn isn't gonna ban you. Very, very important. But let's say you're reaching out to 2,500 people per LinkedIn account. You're also, when they connect with you, you're gonna send them a message that is that direct and specific. Hey, we help restaurant owners in Miami, Florida get XYZ in the next 90 days. If you get XYZ in the next 90 days, would it be worth your time to do a call? You're gonna get a bunch of them to say yes. That allows you to do volume with efficiency and be specific and sound very, very human. That's the way that we're generating literally hundreds of meetings for some of our clients every single month. Literally every month, hundreds of meetings coming in from LinkedIn alone, is because we're doing things in volume with efficiency, but also being specific, because it's a human on the other side. It's a human on the other side, and we're just trying to connect with them and make them feel heard and understood, and make them truly feel that we can help them out. Now, again, the 2 resources that I have that go into more detail on this is how to hack LinkedIn's limitations for the amount of connection requests you can do. You don't even need a software to do that part. And I'll show you how to do that in the video in the description, as well as the very step-by-step granular how to create these messages so that they actually get responses. All right, so step 5, now that you know who you're targeting, you're reaching out, you're connecting with them, you're messaging them, you're probably getting meetings by now, and this can happen very, very quickly. Step 5 is all about nurturing your network, because the thing is, the more and more and more your network grows, the more potential you have to nurture those inside of that network that didn't respond, that didn't say that they want to get on a call with you, right? They can still see your content. Now, where most people get this wrong is they either just start posting like all this stuff on their industry that doesn't really matter to people or their audience, or they're just like constantly selling and pitching, or they're just not doing it, right? Either of those is kind of a mistake. But the biggest thing is, if you're posting every day and just like stuff that doesn't matter to your client, it's not going to get engagement. So what you want to do is 80% of your posts, just make it posts that are about engaging. Like if you look through your feed, you're going to see a lot of the stuff is mostly about inspirational stories. Like inspirational stories, maybe something funny. It's going to be business-y related. The biggest thing is you want your content to get engaged with, so that you keep showing up in people's feeds. Because if it's just promotional constantly, no one's going to engage with your content, which means it's not going to keep showing up in the feed. So make sure 80% is more just focused on getting engagement, like finding fun stuff to share, making sure to do something maybe that's on a relevant topic, or talking about something that's in the news right now. Then the 20%, the other 20%, you want to be posting about value. Remember that thing that's keeping your customer up at night? What are like value tips that you can give them to kind of alleviate that pain, if nothing else, for temporarily or partially? What are value tips that you can give them? And so that 80% of your content's getting that fun, kind of engaging, and everybody's engaging with it. And that 20% is giving value. Notice how I said no, there's no promotional here. There's no, hey, get a deal on our stuff, 30% off this month. None of that, because you've already messaged them. And so now it's just a matter of staying top of mind. So think about it this way. Your content marketing strategy is all about engagement, value, and top of mind. Your direct messaging strategy is about asking for the meeting, right? And so most people get this backwards. They do their messaging around like, hey, I just want to be fun and don't want to rock the boat. And then they do their content marketing to be very like pitchy and salesy. But the reality is you want your messaging to be very direct, and your content marketing to just be more like, hey, fun, and posts that they want to see kind of every day. That's also something you can do in batch. Don't think like, hey, I have to create this stuff every day. Like I got to just pump out stuff I got to be Gary Vee on this stuff. No, you can literally spend some time. You can even hire somebody on Fiverr or whatever, but spend like 3 or 4 hours one time a month, and then kind of quickly write out fun content for the whole month. That you can like post, and then literally just post it. Like post it throughout the day. So it's called batch creating. So you just spend one time where you block out this time where you create all of your content, keep it simple, do it in batch, and then you post it out so you don't have to worry about it every day or every week. Some people do it weekly batch, and some people do it monthly batch, just whatever you're able to do. Again, I do have a resource in the description that'll show you how to do posting on LinkedIn so that it's getting engagement, it's getting to show up, and then ultimately it's getting you customers, because who cares about all this content if it's not growing our businesses, right? So make sure to get that resource in the description below. All right. So now you're building your network, you're getting meetings with your network, you're probably like getting on some calls with people, and you're posting, so you're staying top of mind, and you're getting people interested and reaching back out to you, got all this great stuff. What happens when they book the call? Remember the story I told you about the client? We built out their whole system. We didn't just build out their lead generation system and their appointment system, we built out their automated email nurturing system, and we built out their sales process. So this is when we step into step 6, which is automating your email nurture. So what happens when Bob raises his hand in LinkedIn and says, hey, I wanna talk to you about what you do. And then he books a call, but that call is not till Friday. Well, you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then part of Friday for them to kind of forget you. And that's what happens. We're busy, we got a million things going on in life. We're gonna be forgotten very, very quickly. That when they first messaged us, that was kind of the peak at which they were interested, and it's gonna wane down. So what do we wanna do between Monday and Friday? Well, we wanna build know, like, and trust. We want them to get to know us more. We want them to start to like us more, and then we want them to start to trust us more. And so we can do that through email, through video, we can SMS. I love doing an SMS the first day and humanizing it and say, hey, I just saw you booked a call. What's the one thing you're looking to get from our time together? And because I want to start a conversation early, this is about starting to build that relationship before the call. Because if we don't build that relationship before the call, we're going to get to Friday and then be like, oh, who is this again? Sorry. Oh, that's right. I set up a meeting on Monday. Hey, I'm a little busy. Can we reschedule this? Versus you get to Friday and you're not everybody's going to watch all of your videos and all of your text and all that stuff. But if you can have some of them do that, you're going to get on calls where it goes, man, yeah, I watched your video on how to do this. Man, I watched your webinar. Oh yeah, dude, I love everything you're doing. I would love to do this. And so you're gonna get some of your meetings are not gonna do anything. So it'll just be like a regular meeting. Some of your meetings are gonna open up some of the stuff. So they're gonna be a lot more warmed up. And then some of them are gonna read every testimony, every video you send and be literally ready to buy on that call. So you can set that up. It's very cost effective. It's very easy to do. I even have a more in-depth step-by-step training on how we do that so that you can get your meetings warmed up before you even have them. Very, very powerful. Just make sure that you have something in place so that when they book through automation, they're actually getting warmed up to know you, to like you, and to trust you. Because look, there's a million of us. Lead gen, marketing, coaches, whatever your industry's in, there's a million of you. And to your customer, you look the same as everybody else that's pitching them. All of us are getting pitched literally hundreds of times a day on LinkedIn and every single area. So we need something to stand out. You need to separate yourself. You might know what makes you unique, but your prospect doesn't know what makes you different than the other 100 people that are messaging them on all the different platforms every single day. So be very, very clear on what makes you unique when you do your warm-up process. Again, I have that resource in the description that's gonna show you how to do that in more detail. And that's when we move into step 7, which is sales automations. So let's say you have your call on Monday, they get warmed up, Friday comes and they go, okay, great, just want to think about it. Let's, talk next Tuesday. Next Tuesday comes, maybe they reschedule, and all of a sudden, most companies are gonna lose that person. They're just gonna, okay, on to the next, because it's not being managed. And so you wanna have sales automations in a CRM. Don't get overwhelmed here. The idea is you want to keep them nurtured. After the first call, after the second call, you wanna keep them nurtured, and you can set up automations that will do that for you for literally up to 365 days or up to 2 years if you want to do. We have a client that he turns 1 out of every 10 calls into a client immediately, and like pay in full for the year coaching service, like a $15,000 a year coaching service, pay in full, 1 out of 10, which is good. No, these are not like referrals. These are like cold meetings that they don't know them, they don't like them, they don't trust them yet. They get a little warmed up with the email and then they get on the call. 1 out of 10 converts, sometimes better, sometimes 2 out of 10. But over the period of 1 year using sales automation, 5 out of 10 turn into a customer. And so if you could have a sales automation installed into your business that no matter if that person converted in the first couple of calls or they didn't, that every one of them that didn't convert would be followed up with for a year and then ultimately get 5 out of 10 to turn into a customer, how effective would that be for your business? And I do have a more in-depth resource on how to do that in the description. All right, so that is it. Let me recap these 7 parts. Number 1, who are you targeting? What keeps them up at night? Number 2, you want to set up your profile in a way that makes them, 1, want to connect with you, and 2, want to actually meet with you. Then 3 is building your network. Number 4 is messaging that network to get meetings. Number 5 is going to be doing content marketing to stay top of mind for the people that haven't booked with you yet. We want to get them to book eventually. Number 6 is once you do start getting people meeting with you, how do you warm them up for the call? They book on Monday, that calls till Friday. Let's get them warmed up on autopilot. And so that most of them, the majority of them can turn into customers. And then number 7 is for those that don't turn into customers after the first or second or third call, let's set up some sales automations to make sure the most amount of them converts. I do have some free resources in the description. Make sure to use those if you want more in depth and more in detail. I also have a free bonus guide, a bonus training that's going to just give you awesome resources at the end. you can click the link. But before you do that, before I give that to you, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you got value from this video, if you didn't, don't do any of that. If you didn't get any value, what the heck are you still doing here? Get out of here. But if you got value, it's the only thing I ask. I don't make a penny off my channels. I literally could monetize them. I could have ads running on them and make money, but I don't, because I want to give you pure value. And that free guide I'm going to give you at the end, I don't make a penny off that. So I just ask that if you get value from it and you start growing and scaling, you just give me a testimony. All right. There is that link below. Click that link below. This is Tim Dodd with the Tim Dodd Show. I will see you on the other side.